What's going on, guys? Today we're over on the test server because unfortunately I don't have these champions on my account. But this combo is so cool. So a few days ago, that's actually spoiling what I'm about to show you, but a few days ago, I did an Islam video and went against this team right here. Now this team, I really wasn't sure why they picked the champions they picked, because Calvalax doesn't typically make sense in Arena. But little did I know that he makes complete sense in this team and is absolutely incredible. So thank you, big shout out to Loki in the comment section for actually explaining what was going on. Now I'm not going to read over this. If you want to pause it and read over it, you can. I'm just going to jump into some fights and show you from the test server what's working and why this is so crazy. So let me refresh this page. Let's go against a team that is without a doubt 1,000,000% gonna be faster than me. This is Smiley's team. It's always faster than me, always has been, and it always will be unless I bring in this team. We have no polymorphs over there, so it's absolutely perfect. Let me show you how it works, and then I'll explain why it works. So we come in here, place poisons on everybody, and then my Teox gets a turn. His Arbiter is just waking up. She's just now arriving to the fight. Look at that, like 50% turn meter, and Teox is already ready to just destroy everyone. Now the cool thing with this is with Teox's A3 ability, if we have 2 Lizardmen in the team, he's gonna block revive. So as long as I kill the damage dealer, then we're okay. So now everybody's dead, everybody's block revived, and we're going against a Necrit. Not really too worried about that. So we just beat a team that has easily a 400 and probably 30 plus Arbiter, maybe 440, who knows, but she is a very fast Arbiter. I can't beat her with any of my champions on my account. So we just throw in a Calvalax plus a Teox, easily defeat the speed, easily win that speed race, and just wipe the team. Not a problem in the world. Do you want to see how fast my Teox is? I'll show you in just a moment, guys, how fast he is. Now, this is probably my favorite thing to do in Raid, which is using these like quirky teams that people typically don't think of, but a few people know about, and they're just really fun. Maybe not the most meta. This honestly is probably a pretty good team though, but obviously very weak to polymorph. Maybe these teams aren't the most meta, but they are extremely fun. The Island situation, that's a lot of fun. I don't know why, but it is. Now, as far as the speed goes for my Teox, he's 170. 170 speed is not beating anybody. So how is that working? Well, his passive skill fills his champion's turn meter by 5% whenever an enemy or an ally receive a debuff. Also, he's now going to have a chance to counterattack whenever an ally is hit by an enemy under a debuff. Also, decreases the damage this champion receives from enemies under debuffs by 50%, and the damage allies receive from enemies under debuffs by 20%. So if we have 2 Lizardmen, we're getting tons of benefits. Unfortunately, we can't bring in a 3rd Lizardman. If we could, then this would be even crazier. But since Calvalax is taking that spot, until we have a Lizardman Calvalax, well, this is just what we have. So let's go against another team. We'll do a few matches, guys, because honestly, this is a lot of fun. If you have Calvalax, if you have Teox, and you're not using this team, well, you're going to start using it now because you're without a doubt going to enjoy it very much. So this one, we drop everybody. We're probably going to die here just because of the fact that Marius is a monster. But we did get some damage mitigation there because of his passive probably. And maybe we could do something or maybe not. Maybe the Marius just solos us because that's what Mariuses do. But I don't have a very well-built team around this Teox. But if you have a Lazarius, if you have a Python, if you have some other champions and actually built for this team, you could do some very good stuff. Or you could queue against teams who have, you know, a bunch of polymorph and probably just get sheeped very early with your Calvalax. But as long as you place some poisons, your Teox is going to get to go before the enemy. Unfortunately, in this case, we're not going before anybody, and we're getting polymorph left and right. So this obviously right here is the huge downside to this team, and the situation where you can just get absolutely wrecked, basically. So in this case, it's not going to work out great. But if you can dodge the polymorph, then you're looking fantastic. This isn't going to be a team that wins you all matches all the time. This right here, we're basically guaranteed, I guess, 20% turn meter boost. Just depends on how the poisons work. If it's like 4 on one champion and then 4 on the next, or if it's like 1 on everybody, 2nd on everybody, not really sure. But we'll use the A3, block revive, Narcies, Loki, everybody's dead. There's nobody left, and the Ancora can't do anything. So all that's left now is just to slowly kill her. But it doesn't even matter. We just turn on auto, and we're fine. So guys, if anybody watching has a team that's kind of like this, something that you think's interesting, maybe a unique build that you want to share, let me know. Shoot me a message on Discord. leave it in the comment section down below. I would love to try out some new stuff because that's really where I get the most enjoyment, is trying out these new and interesting teams. I think it's cool to see this kind of stuff. Big shout out to Madara for actually using that team in live arena, and then big shout out to Loki for explaining it to me, because I 100% overlooked it when I was facing it. I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. We got Calvalax. It didn't even cross my mind of what's actually going on, because a while back we actually had a Calvalax and Gerda thing where Gerda decreases enemies' turn meter whenever debuffs are placed. So it was seeming like the Calvalax would place the debuffs, turn meter would get decreased, and then when we get a turn, we would get to go before the enemy and get a cut in. When in reality, it's not really what was happening. The poisons were placed before turn meter was ever even accounted for. So in that case, there was nothing actually going on. I was actually just faster than the enemy. But this, Teox is getting boosted. So it's completely different. And if there's any other champions that get effects when debuffs are placed, they could also work in this situation. I'm not for sure if there is. But like, oh, this is an excellent one. We have Marichka. We have 2 big polymorph champions. Pay attention to how many poisons get placed. I think Teox does them one at a time, or Calvalax does them one at a time. Somehow that Siphi got to go before me. That's actually... Was it the Marichka? Did she cleanse the poisons? I'm not sure what happened there. Honestly, it's actually kind of weird. I'm surprised that they went so... How'd they... I'm not really sure what happened there. The Marichka, she's like... got something to do with poisons, doesn't she? Places block damage with poisons. Turn meter... Yeah, I'm not really sure. Siphi doesn't get turn meter boost from the poisons. Does he get anything turn meter changes with poisons? No. Let me try that one more time, because that's actually very, very strange. Turn meter boost times 12. But Siphi still went before me. Maybe it's just because he's actually slow. Is my Teox actually that slow? Or that Siphi that fast? That even with 12 turn meter boosts, it should have been, 12 turn meter boosts of 5%. Dang, that's actually crazy if so. Let me check this real quick. Let me go switch some boots on him for some speed boots, because I was just going pure damage. Not very high because I have no blessings on him. But let's go some cruelty boots with actual speed on it to see if that was the case, because I really actually think it was. I think he just actually got outsped. Kind of impressive, honestly. So maybe don't make your champion have 0 speed. So now they have block damage. We can't go through the block damage, unfortunately. I don't think we can. We have no strips. So in this case, against Marichka, it's not great. We do no damage whatsoever. They get their buffs. It's a bad situation. So we were slow, which is why they got a turn before us. But I wasn't able to do anything anyways because of Marichka placing the block damage whenever poisons are placed. So something to be mindful of there. But against these other teams, like MTG Jedi's team, I know he's faster than my champions as well. Definitely faster than all these. But Teox, he has so much turn meter that he filled his bar completely and now has a little extra. Like he's almost going 2-to-1 basically. That is so crazy. And then we kill him. Typically, Siegfried would make a mess of this, switching forms, doing all that kind of crazy stuff. But now, he's not going to res anybody because, well, he can't. He can only res the Arbiter. Block passive. Okay, I guess his passive would make him switch forms. No, okay. So he switched forms. Oh, he reses the Arbiter. That's the only person he can res because everyone else is block revived. Teox dealt with everybody else. It's honestly so fun. I might try a few more times, but this makes me actually want Teox even more than I did before because I don't really have much of a use for Calvalax. So having Teox in this stuff would be actually a lot of fun. A whole lot of fun, honestly. And Teox is a beast. I mean, I've already wanted him. And the Hydra, he's awesome everywhere. So if you're using him, actually, I know you're using him. I know if you have him, you're definitely using him. And you probably have Calvalax as well. So throw them in there together. See how good they can be together. Honestly, Calvalax, Teox, Lazarius, plus Ramantu would probably be a pretty insane team. Or even Pytheon or Krisk. Any of those would be fine. But Lazarius would just be so good in this team. So good. Guys, we're going to do one more fight just to see how this goes. This is against a little bit slower team. I don't know if that's very interesting, though. It doesn't really showcase the point of this team. We'll go against this Marius setup. It's a different Marius setup this time. I believe also a pretty fast team. Armon's always pretty fast, but I have no worry he's going to be faster than my Teox. And we killed 2 champs. There we go. We strip them and block their passives, provoke them. So as long as your like Ramen 2 and stuff can actually get a turn, then you're going to be pretty good. You're going to be able to get a turn before them and start going. So even against that Marius before, if I could have got my Ramen 2 to go in there and strip him, then we would have been in a fantastic spot. It's, of course, building the rest of the team around him. But this core strategy of these 2 champions, as long as you don't get polymorphed, well, you're going to be looking pretty good. So now we block revive on both the champions. So they're both down. So, man, this is so cool. Such a cool team. Big shout out to Loki. Great breakdown. Excellent breakdown. Because like I said, when I first saw this team, I was like, what's going on? This is how I played it in the Island video. Basically, I was confused. I was faster than the Armons somehow. Didn't really know what happened there. Then the shoes in, does stuff. The Teox doesn't get to do enough damage. He doesn't have any extra lizardmen, so nobody was block revived anyways. We got an ad apparently for Hero Wars. I'm not getting paid for this, so skip that. But then Teox does his thing. Doesn't actually kill anybody. And then after this, my Island, he got such high resistance that even if the Calvalax, even if I didn't have Stone Skin, the Calvalax still wouldn't apply the poisons. He would have had to have 700 accuracy, basically, because I had Lydia in the team. It was even more difficult for him. But hey, it's an awesome team. +4 Calvalax, fully awakened. It's a good use for him. Try him out in Live Arena because he's not going to get banned, right? Your Teox may get banned, but your Calvalax is not going to get banned. Basically, no chance. And it's going to surprise people, honestly. 100% is going to surprise people. They're not going to know that strategy most of the time. They're just going to be a little confused like I was. If I would have known it, I would have maybe banned the Calvalax. Probably not, but possibly. Probably not, though, just because of my Island stuff. But in general, this team is going to be pretty fun to run. But guys, it's a long enough video. You guys get the point. Let me know how you like this team if you try it out. Big shout out again to Loki as well as Madara. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.